All right. Getting ready for a philosophy teacher interview, huh? Secondary school level. That's what we're diving into today.
Yeah, it's more than just like, having the right answers ready.
Right, right.
It's about showing them you really get it.
Get what it means to be a philosophy teacher.
Exactly.
And lucky for us, we've got RoleCatcher to help with that.
Absolutely.
Career guides, skill guides, and the interview guides. Packed with questions, insights, all that good stuff.
They even have AI feedback now. It's wild.
AI feedback.
Really.
Oh, yeah, super helpful. But even just the career guides themselves
Yeah.
give you such a good look into the job, like what it actually looks like day to day.
Oh, love that. So helpful for anyone prepping.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so let's get into some of those interview questions, shall we? What's the first one our listeners should be ready for?
Well, you're almost guaranteed to hear this one. What made you choose to become a philosophy teacher?
Classic. Seems simple enough.
It is, but it's also your chance to shine,
Yeah.
Show them that passion. I can see how that could be tricky. It's such a big question. Where do you even start?
Think of it like a story, Don't just list off reasons.
Okay, yeah.
Find that aha moment, the thing that really hooked you.
Ooh, I like that.
Was it a specific philosopher? A class? Maybe a mentor?
So it's about connecting that personal experience to teaching, right?
Yeah.
Showing how it all led you here.
Exactly. And that's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in. It's amazing.
Oh, right. The AI feedback?
Yeah, you type in your answer, and it gives you feedback tailored for philosophy teacher roles specifically.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Like having a coach in your pocket.
Right. Helps you fine-tune that story and make it really resonate.
I love that.
Okay.
Okay, so we tackled the why you chose this path. What comes next?
Engaging those young minds. That's a big one. How do you make philosophy accessible and engaging for, high schoolers?
Ooh, yeah. That's a tough one. Philosophy can be so complex, even for adults,
It's all about the approach.
Right.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide has some great strategies, actually.
Oh, perfect. Let's hear them.
So, first, real-life examples.
Okay, yeah.
Connect those big philosophical ideas to things they already care about.
Pop culture, current events, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Make it relevant to their world.
Makes sense.
And then there's tech. Don't underestimate the power of technology.
Really? I wouldn't have thought of that for philosophy, to be honest.
Oh, it's amazing what you can do now. Interactive activities, simulations, even online debates.
So it's about going beyond the traditional lecture format, right?
Exactly. And if you want to dive deeper, RoleCatcher has a whole skill guide on adapting your teaching.
Adapting to different students' capabilities, you mean?
Yeah, really helpful stuff if you're feeling stuck.
Super valuable. Okay, so we've got the why, we've got engagement, but we can't talk about education today without talking about diversity and inclusion, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's going to come up in the interview for sure.
Probably something like, how do you incorporate diversity and inclusivity into your curriculum?
Something like that, yeah. And it's not enough to just give a generic answer.
Right, they want specifics.
They want to see that you've thought about this, that you're proactive.
So what kind of concrete examples would really impress an interviewer, you think?
Well, look at the philosophers you teach, the texts you use. Are they diverse?
Diverse in terms of culture, gender, race, all of that.
All of it. Showcase the richness of philosophy from around the world.
It's about showing a broader, more inclusive view of philosophy, right?
Exactly. And it shows you're aware of potential biases.
Biases in those traditional philosophical materials.
Yeah, that you're actively trying to address them.
And I bet RoleCatcher's FAQs have some more info on this too.
Oh, for sure. They go pretty deep on diversity and inclusion.
Good to know. All right, so we've covered why you chose this path, engaging students, your approach to diversity. What other big questions should our listeners be ready for?
This one's a classic, but it can throw people off. What is your teaching philosophy?
Ooh, yeah, I hate that question. It always feels like you need this perfectly worded statement prepared.
No, it's not about that at all.
It's not.
Nope. It's about authenticity, what truly drives you as a teacher,
So, like, my core beliefs about learning and education.
Exactly. How do you approach your role in the classroom? What's important to you?
Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. So it's more about reflecting on my own experiences and values as an educator.
Exactly. And remember, you want to align your philosophy with the school's values, too.
Oh, good point. Do your research, see what their mission statement says.
Shows you've done your homework.
Smart. Okay, so not as scary as I thought.
Yeah.
But still a tough one.
Well, luckily, RoleCatcher has this cool feature.
Yeah.
You can save different versions of your answer on their platform, compare them.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So you can tailor it to each school you're interviewing with.
That's so helpful. Okay, RoleCatcher is seriously impressive. So we've talked about motivation, engaging students, diversity, teaching philosophy. What else should our listeners be prepared for?
Assessment. They'll definitely ask about that. Something like, how do you assess student learning and philosophy?
Oh yeah, assessment is huge.
Hmm.
Got to make sure it's meaningful, actually measures what they're learning.
Exactly. And it's about going beyond those traditional tests.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Think projects, presentations, maybe even philosophical dialogues or debates.
No, they're actually applying their knowledge, not just memorizing.
Exactly. Makes it an active part of the learning process.
Love it. And I bet RoleCatcher's Career Guide has some more ideas on this too.
You bet. It talks about the functions and core abilities of a philosophy teacher. Lots of inspiration there.
Fantastic. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already, but I know there's more to come. Stay tuned, everyone, as we keep unpacking these must-know interview questions in part 2 of this deep dive.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready for more interview prep?
Oh, I'm ready. Feeling much more confident already after part 1.
Good, that's the goal.
It's amazing how much goes into being a good philosophy teacher.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about knowing the subject matter, it's about all these other skills.
Oh, totally. It's about being adaptable, being a team player, always learning and growing.
Yeah, and I feel like the next question really highlights that.
Oh, you mean how do you handle difficult or controversial topics in your philosophy class?
That's the one.
Yeah.
And let's be real, philosophy is full of those.
Right. And it feels like nowadays anything can become controversial.
True. So how do you navigate that as a teacher?
It's about creating a safe space for those tough conversations.
Okay, yeah, a safe and respectful learning environment.
Exactly. Where students can really engage with these challenging ideas, but in a thoughtful way.
I like that. So it's not about avoiding controversy altogether. It's about guiding those conversations constructively.
Exactly. And there are some key strategies for doing that.
Like what?
Well, first off, you need clear ground rules for discussion.
Makes sense?
Make it super clear that everyone's viewpoint is respected, no personal attacks, that kind of thing.
Oh, and maybe even involve the students in creating those rules.
Great idea. Gives them ownership, makes them feel more responsible.
I love that.
What else?
Modeling respectful disagreement is huge.
Oh, that's so important. Lead by example. Show them how it's done.
Right. You can disagree with someone without, dismissing their viewpoint entirely.
And learn from each other in the process, right?
Exactly. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI feedback can be really helpful.
Oh, yeah, for this kind of scenario specifically.
Totally. You can practice your response to this question, get feedback on your delivery.
Because it's a sensitive topic, your tone matters.
Exactly. You want to come across as calm, confident, reassuring.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about handling controversial topics. What else might interviewers throw our way?
They might ask about your approach to technology.
Oh, interesting. So something like, how do you use technology in your philosophy class?
Yeah, something like that. It's becoming more and more common.
I'll be honest, technology is not the first thing that comes to mind when I think about philosophy. I get it, but you'd be surprised at how much you can do.
Really? Like what?
Think virtual simulations, online debates, platforms for exploring ethical dilemmas.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I never would have thought of that.
It's all about bringing philosophy to life in a way that resonates with students today, you know?
Right. They're digital natives.
Exactly. And actually, RoleCatcher's Career Guide talks about this.
It does.
Yeah, about how technology is playing a bigger and bigger role in education.
So interviewers are definitely looking for teachers who are tech savvy.
For sure. It can really enhance the learning experience, make philosophy more accessible.
Love that. Okay, so we've got controversial topics, technology. What other key areas should we touch on?
Collaboration and professional growth. Those are big ones.
Makes sense. Those are important for any teaching role.
Right. Be prepared to answer questions like, how do you collaborate with other teachers? And how do you stay current in the field of philosophy?
It's all about being a team player and a lifelong learner, right?
You got it. Show them you're willing to learn from others. Share your expertise.
Mention things like joining professional organizations, attending conferences.
Yeah, and reading journals, maybe even pursuing advanced degrees.
It's about constantly evolving as an educator, staying on top of things.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's Career Compass can actually help you with this.
Oh, how so?
It lets you explore different career paths, find professional development opportunities.
So you can show the interviewer that you're thinking long-term, not just looking for any job.
Right, that you're serious about a career in education.
Smart. Okay, we've covered so much in this deep dive already. Before we move on to the final part, let's recap some key takeaways for our listeners. What are those essential qualities interviewers are looking for in a philosophy teacher?
Authenticity is huge, showing that genuine passion.
Yeah, that love for philosophy and teaching.
Exactly. Also, being engaging, knowing how to connect with those young minds.
And creating that inclusive and diverse learning environment we talked about.
Yes. And of course, being prepared, which is where RoleCatcher comes in.
Oh, yeah, their resources are amazing. They really help you tailor your answers, practice your delivery.
It's like having a personal interview coach right there in your pocket.
Right. Okay, before we wrap up this section, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question, something inspired by the source material.
Ooh, I like this.
How can philosophy education empower students to navigate the ethical challenges of a rapidly changing world?
That's a great one. Really gets at the heart of why philosophy matters today.
Right. It's not just about these old thinkers and abstract theories anymore.
It's about equipping students with the skills they need to make sense of the world, you know?
Critical thinking, ethical frameworks, all of that.
Exactly. The world's changing so fast, and philosophy can help them navigate those changes.
Love it. Okay, everyone, if you're ready for even more insights and advice, stick with us as we dive into the final part of this deep dive. Back for the final round, feeling prepped and ready.
Let's do it. Got some more good questions lined up for you.
Bring it on.
All right, this one might seem simple, but it's important. What are the main responsibilities of a philosophy teacher in a secondary school?
Okay, yeah, it does seem pretty straightforward.
It is, but it's your chance to show them you really understand the scope of the role.
Right, that it's more than just, like, knowing the philosophy itself.
Exactly. So think about things like, creating those engaging lesson plans.
Yeah, got to keep those high schoolers interested.
Right, and catering to different learning styles. That's important.
Makes sense.
You're also instructing them on all those different philosophical theories, schools of thought.
Oh, and fostering that positive learning environment. We talked about that.
Right, creating a safe space for discussion and debate.
It's a lot. Sounds like you need to be a master communicator, a mentor, and an assessment expert all at once.
And don't forget about the administrative stuff, too, like monitoring student progress, giving feedback, collaborating with colleagues.
True, true. It's a demanding job, but it sounds so rewarding.
It is, and that's something you can highlight in your answer, that you understand the demands, but you're genuinely excited about it all.
Great point. Okay, what other tough questions might they ask in this final stretch?
They'll probably want to know about the challenges, too. The specific challenges of teaching philosophy at the high school level.
Something like, what are some of the challenges faced by philosophy teachers in a secondary school?
Exactly. Be ready for that one.
Well, I imagine engaging teenagers in philosophy is a big one.
For sure. You've got to make it relatable, connect it to their lives.
Find creative ways to, like, break down those complex ideas.
Exactly. And sometimes you have to address those preconceived notions they might have about philosophy.
Oh, like that it's boring or irrelevant.
Yeah, stuff like that. You're almost like an ambassador for philosophy, showing them how cool and important it can be.
I love that. Okay, anything else we should cover?
Oh, definitely be ready to talk about the positives, too.
Oh, yeah, the benefits.
So a question like, what are the benefits of being a philosophy teacher in a secondary school?
That one's got to be easier to answer, right?
Well, it should come from the heart. Think about what you love about teaching philosophy.
For me, it'd be seeing those aha moments, when a student finally grasps a concept.
Yeah. Or when they make a connection to their own lives.
It's about sparking that curiosity, helping them develop those critical thinking skills.
Exactly. And for you as a teacher, there's that constant learning, that intellectual engagement.
Always exploring new ideas, challenging your own assumptions.
It's amazing. All right, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
We have. They're definitely well equipped to rock those interview questions now.
Remember, let that authenticity shine through. Show them your passion, your commitment to those students.
And don't forget about RoleCatcher. Their resources are invaluable.
Absolutely. Use them to fine-tune your answers, practice your delivery, and really stand out.
It's like having a secret weapon for interview success.
Wishing everyone the best of luck in their interviews.
You got this. And that's a wrap on another deep dive. Thanks for joining us as we explored the world of philosophy education. Keep those minds curious, everyone, and we'll see you next time.